Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma, and welcome back to another stream where we are continuing this random tag game that I'm making that is coming along well-ish. It's kind of still at the beginning, but also it was a resurrected project from years ago, and also I did some work on it between last stream and now, so it'd be looking different. And that is pretty cool. So, we're going to start with, I guess, recapping what I've done between then and now, and then figuring out what we're going to be doing today. Which should be having to do with, AI pathfinding navmesh shenanigans. I think that's the idea, the objective for today. We'll see what direction things go. First of all, everything's looking good. Background music going. I'm not muted. Seems to be the case. Hopefully so. So, this tag game that I am still trying to think of a better name for. When it started as this school project, years ago to just make a tag game. So I just called it like Extreme Tag, and then it was Ultimate Tag, and then it was Ultra Tag, whatever. And then, non-convex, great rhombus. Guess who's here? Hello. Hi, I see that you've changed your name. Hello. Welcome. Skill E, I presume. Is that what? Was that also your Twitch name before? I don't remember necessarily. But yeah, hello, non-convex. Welcome. Yeah, we were talking about funky shapes earlier. What was? Hold on. Where was it? One second. Where were you? Rhombicodecahedron. Something like that. Yeah, funky, complex, crazy shapes. Yes, I'm more fitting of who I am now. Yeah. Fun. Anyway, I'm just getting started here. Or quasirhombicodecahedron. Yeah, I'm great at pronouncing stuff. Woo. Yes, like eigen decomposition is a funky math thing, or Raxicocoricophalopatorius, a planet in Doctor Who, and what's the Mary Poppins one? No, wait, I know this. How does it start? Shoot, no, what's the big made-up word? I don't want to. I want to avoid googling this. Oh no. Okay, one second. As soon as I see the first letter of it, big word. What was it? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That's it. Got it. Right. Yes. Got there. Anyway, yeah. Fun way to get things started. Speaking of words, I was just saying, like, with the name of this, right now, it doesn't really have a name. When it was the school project that it was just Ultra Tag, and now I'm turning it into something else. I don't want to stick with that name. I don't have a better one yet, so it's just tag game for now. Whatever. Not important. What is important is game. So, before, as of last stream, yeah, all of this stuff wasn't here. We got more stuff going on, and that's pretty cool. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I had to allow the message because I wasn't sure if it was something funky, but when do we get a special... The big word you said. Non-convex great rhombicodecahedron. Yes. Skin. Right here, right now. Before I even have all the game mechanics made, let's start making a bunch of skins and microtransactions and NFTs. Wow, that'd be great to have. No. We are doing pathfinding stuff, which, I mean, this navmesh is a bunch of funky shapes, so there'd be that. Right. So, as of last stream, we had done a lot of cleanup on this project, and the lighting was still bad. There's all just the colors of this test environment look better now. I actually pulled out a full palette thing. There is a website to there's like a palette generator thing. Palette generator. What's the actual name of the site? Coolers. Hold on. If this could load faster, that'd be great. 1 second. This guy. This is a thing that I've used and have used a bit in the past, and frankly should use more. Basically, you press space, it generates good 5 colors that look nice together. And then there's different, you can like, oh, ooh, I like, whatever, I like this green, let me lock that, and then generate other things that work well with that. Oh, I like this orange with it, blah, 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 blah. So actually I quite like those. Anyway, whatever. I use the palette generator to do with making this environment look nice instead of the weird, like, blues and purples that it was before. We had cleaned up a lot of how the project was before, different things that I'd wanted to cut out. The player moves. I don't think much changed with the actual player move script. It will eventually, probably, but yeah, player just moves as it does. Yeah. Wow, and we can jump, all that crazy stuff. Where the meat and potatoes of this game are with the actual enemy, which I temporarily copied this arena because I was messing around with nav mesh stuff earlier. Enemies over here. We're gonna bring it back to the main place eventually. I also I stripped out the like human models that were kind of there before, that were even more like placeholder back when it was the school project many years ago, and just went back to geometric shapes for now, for it to kind of fit better with the test environment that we're looking at here. And then we'll hopefully go back into being better models eventually. I was saying that the enemies, I kind of want to make like robot people of some kind. I still don't know exactly what this is going to look like, but we're going to figure that out. A mix of a tag game with Dead by Daylight when... yeah, I might use that as an artist. Yeah, it's a cool... The palette creator thing is, yeah, neat. Lost my train of thought. Yeah, so this tag game. So, okay, basically, I'm just making a simple tag game, but I had some ideas to make it more unique and interesting. I kind of took a break from game development for a while. I'm getting back into it. This game is me easing my way back into it. And then I have a bigger, grander idea that I'm going to be diving into next. But I wanted to do this comparatively smaller thing first. So the tag game, I wanted to try doing a thing where the enemy is faster than you, but the enemy can't jump, but you, the player, can jump. And so then there's, like, you know, these hurdles in the environment, essentially, that, like, oh, you know, that AI can't go through here, it'd be going around a lot of things, but you, the player, can jump. I wanted to see, can I make an interesting strategic thing out of that? We'll see. That's what we're doing more of today. Between last time and this time, I was messing more with how nav mesh stuff worked, and, it's cool. Nav mesh stuff is kind of neat in Unity. And I believe it's gotten better from when I had initially made this game. Just in that it can do more things. You can have this, like, nav mesh area that defines where the enemy is allowed to go. I just put it in a random script that it just, like, picks a random place every 5 seconds and runs there. Actually, let me just go into play mode and show it off. Hwah. Show, don't tell. Blah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, it just picks a random place and then starts traveling there. The different colored areas, I don't think are necessarily going to apply in my game, but I was neat to just mess around with them because, I don't know, they could turn into something. You can define certain areas as being harder to get through, and so the AI just determining, like, what's the better path to go through. I can be like, oh, this area, like, would hypothetically take twice as long to get through. This area is like water or mud. You know, you'd trudge through it a lot slower. So if you're going to go through this, you'd be, like, going slower. So it might be faster to go the long way around. Yeah, I don't know. That's cool stuff you can do. And if you had different enemies, you could have that some can only traverse through... Some can go through the water, but some can't. That's cool stuff you can do. You can even have stuff that sort of carves out in the nav mesh. Things that make holes. Let's see if I can catch this enemy. Like, oh, you're trying to go over here? No, you're not. And it pathfinds right. I think it would work better if I wasn't moving it from the editor. Like, it update more live, and like how it's cutting out. Nope, you're trying to go around there. Oh, well, I mean, it was able to go through there, but yeah. I also tweaked, like, settings on how it moves. It's, like, faster. It turns snappier. But yeah, it's cool how it pathfinds. This is just Unity's built-in stuff, but it does work pretty nicely. When I had originally made this game, I didn't use the nav mesh system. I, for a fun coding challenge, wanted to try to just program my own AI pathfinding system, and that was a very long venture. It was fun and neat to do, but now for making this thing, I'm going to not be reinventing the wheel. So let me just move this down and sit down. Yeah, using the nav mesh thing, because it works good. Or at least for generating the path. I can then do more stuff beyond it. One thing I was considering doing, if I open up some code here. One thing I was considering doing was, so you could either just say, hey, take the agent that is the enemy and set its destination. In this case, I'm just putting in, like, random numbers. A lot of what we're doing today is having this not be random numbers, but actually be calculating stuff based on where the player is and going away from it, ideally. You can either just set this destination and then it figures everything out for you. Or you can have it calculate this path, and then you can say, oh, this is the path that the nav mesh calculated of, I want to go here, so here's the way I should go. And then you could move the enemy in a more custom way, potentially. Like, oh, do rigid body stuff. Like, apply force in that direction instead of having the agent itself do it. I don't know how far into the custom route I'm going to go necessarily. I do want to keep making this game a bit simpler. I want it to be clean and elegant. I don't want it to feel all messy and sloppy and whatever. So, like, I had some ideas for how I might do things in some complicated ways with how I might have this robot move around. Initially, I was going to have a thing like, oh, if it wants to go somewhere, it would, like, move really fast in a straight line and then kind of stop and turn, and then move really fast in a straight line and then stop and turn, and move really fast in a straight line. That kind of movement. I might maybe do something like that eventually, but that'll be more complicated a lot more complicated to do than just the default how the nav mesh works. But I do want to start with trying to just get this to be a small playable something, keeping it as simple as possible. If the AI moves in a slightly different way, yeah, it'll make it look cooler and more polished, but it wouldn't affect the inherent gameplay as much. I want to build something that tests the basic gameplay stuff and make it work. And that I'm having the enemy work differently than the player, I want to make sure that that's balanced. That for this being a tag game, the player tagging the enemy can't be too easy, and it can't be too insanely difficult. And then you running away, trying to evade the enemy, can't be too easy and can't be too insanely difficult. Right now, the scoring kind of thing for this, which I temporarily turned off so this thing could run around infinitely, just as I was testing it running around, was just that whoever is not it, so the one that's running away, is just slowly accumulating points, and then whoever gets to however many points to fill their bar first wins. Which might still be the case. I do like that more than just at the end of 5 minutes, whoever's not it wins, because then anything that happens in the first 4 minutes might not matter. It's only like the last 30 seconds. It might actually have a difference if you just tag someone last minute. I like the idea that what you're doing over the whole game matters. So just, if you're not it, you're slowly accumulating points. I like that. Yeah, one potential problem with the current system that I have devised that I need to come up with a solution for is, if I want the enemy to not be able to jump, the enemy's faster. The player doesn't run as fast, but they can jump, so you can go over these hurdles. In theory, you know, the enemy's running by, you jump over a hurdle, you tag them. Actually, this environment might not work well for that. I need to make sure I design a good environment for that purpose. Right now, I just placed things very randomly. I might, for testing's sake, have a smaller environment where things are more intentionally placed to make sure that it works with the system that is designed. But one thing I need to come up with a solution for, that I have some theories, some ideas, but I haven't locked in exactly what I want to do yet, but I just want to ramble out some options. Once you tag the enemy and you the player are the one running away, you are here and you jump over this, and then the enemy has to run around to get you. You can just jump back over and jump back over and jump back over. There's a potential problem with the fact that if the player can just keep jumping over back and forth these hurdles, that in theory would make it way too easy to get away from the enemy. You could just keep hopping back and forth. Possible solutions to this are that you can either only jump across a hurdle a certain number of times. Let me go out of play 1 second. I should do this. Like, if you jump over the hurdle, it could break and go away. Maybe it comes back later. Like, maybe it's a refresh thing. That's an option. The player's jump button could have a cooldown. Like, once you jump, it's a few seconds until you can actually jump again. Well, the hurdle could either go away or could, like, rise up and become a full-on wall, like, modifying the environment. the hurdle could be one way somehow. I don't know how I'd best communicate that to the player. That's an important part of this. I need to do something that the player can... that I can communicate to the player in as simple of a way as possible without it being too complicated to understand. But hypothetically, the barrier could be one way, and then you'd have to run around before you could jump over it again. But I don't know how I'd best visually communicate that. Yeah, it could have arrows, but it just, I don't know, isn't as clean as I would like it. Or if in the environment, if there's more verticality, if you're jumping over a ledge, it's like you drop more, so you can't jump back up. That would make sense. Like, that'd be fine hypothetically. Right now, I'm trying to ideally get this gameplay to work with just a simple flat environment, and I could make something that has more slopes and stuff later. I want it to work when it's basic. It's kind of fun when it's basic, so that it still is fun and polished and whatever when it's grander. Yeah. Another idea I had to fix this like barrier thing. I'm not 100% sure if I want to do it, but I had this idea. And I was like, oh, that could be cool. That could make this game more unique. But there's still some things I'd have to iron out with that. Right now I said, oh, Fanberg, hi, hello, hi, software guy, hello, that is me. We're just getting started here. Oh, there is an autumn in the background. Whoa. Hello. Glad you could join us. Hi. Oh. Yeah. Shoot, what was I just saying? We were planning stuff and recapping things and blah, blah, blah. So, I was just saying that to solve the problem of if the player is running away from the enemy, they can just keep jumping back and forth over the same barrier. Ways to avoid that could be a cooldown on the players jumping, or the barriers like get disabled. Either they go away or they rise up and become walls, or the barriers are one way or something like that. Do you look different than when I first saw you 3 years ago? Maybe. I think I look reasonably the same. Still the same old lab coat. I mean, people age slightly, but I also different webcam, different lighting. I think that in the lighting I kind of look a little bit more pale than I am in real life. I'm a bit more tanned, but that's lighting for you. Yeah, I think I look mostly the same. Actually, it's funny that I have footage of me, a whole channel of me many years ago. Hold on. If I go into my 1 second live stream archive, I can go here, and then I can go sort this way around, and I can look like bam, my first stream. Actually, this was my second stream because my first stream didn't get archived properly. Wow, look at that. Infant me from ages ago. And yeah, people in chat that yeah. I think I look mostly the same. If I look myself in a mirror, I look basically like that. I think it's mostly lighting and slightly different webcam. I mean, yeah, I'm 3 years older. It's crazy, but yeah, your pale version is more tan than me. Yeah, fair enough. I definitely am more pale here because coming out of COVID and everything, but now I'd say I'm more tan. It's just lighting, I guess. And different webcam and blah, blah, blah. I still have this same water bottle. It's right there off screen. And I don't use it. I use this one, but still. Anyway, yeah, Funky. Back when I was making, yeah, this was, really my second stream was when I was making this Editor Madness thing. This would have been the same class in university that I then made the tag game that I'm now working on. I got inside as much now as I did during COVID. Fair enough. Not that far along into here would be the first stream where I was working on this tag game. Discord bot, What? Fanberg, didn't you help me get this Discord bot up and running, if I remember? Ages and ages ago. AI pathfinding for a test level. Making AI can drop AI pathfinding. Making ultimate tag in Unity. Is that really what I called that stream? Gosh. Still figuring out how to name streams. I like my current system, I guess. But yeah, this AI pathfinding. This was the start of what I'm frankly still working on. But, wow. Even when Unity looked a little bit different. And was that Mono Develop? No, it's still Visual Studios. Mono Develop was a lot before, but back when I was in light mode, wow, crazy. Yeah, funky programming stuff. Program all that super complicated AI over 9 hours. I definitely don't stream that much nowadays, but Oh well, it means I get to do more progress between streams, to then be like, haha, look at this progress. I've never made a bot. Oh, maybe I'm thinking about someone else. Sorry. The earliest I remember is when you made some bounce physics. Ah, right. I'm trying to remember in what context I did stuff with like bounce physics. I think I have done something like that. I don't know. I could spend hours going through all of my old streams on a nostalgia trip, but I would like to actually make progress on this here game. There's some streams where I was like either working on some school projects that were game things, or I was just making random, like not even games, just little mechanics just for fun to see if I could. Yes, move forward, forget the past. Yeah! As we continue working on this project from my past, but turning it into something new. Mwahaha. Anyways, I had started a ramble like 10 minutes ago that I didn't finish. I had a big lead up and didn't get to the punchline. So, an idea that I had that I don't know if I'm settled on, but it could be something I start to try today. To solve the problem of the player running away and they could just keep jumping back and forth over a hurdle to evade an enemy or whatever, is changing how the scoring works so that where you're in the map matters. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So, okay. Right now, the scoring is just if you're not you're running away, you're evading, then you just have a bar that slowly ticks up. I had an idea that there could be sort of a collectible in the environment. Imagine like a coin or whatever. And it's over here. And you can only collect it if you are not it. If you are it, it's either invisible or it's like transparent or something maybe. And that could be a thing that when you're running away, you're not just trying to run away from the enemy, you're trying to get to a specific area of the map. You get the thing, boom, you get a point. And now one's over here. Now you gotta get over here, still evading the enemy. And yeah, you could be evading and having to collect stuff, but you can only collect the stuff if you're not having to chase the enemy. And that could be an interesting concept. It's a little bit more than tag, but this doesn't need to be a tag game. That's just kind of what it was before. I wanted to have this environment where you're running around chasing an enemy chases you, and you can have some objective. It doesn't have to stay tag. I just want to make something fun. If that make it more unique and fun, more engaging, then yeah, sure, why not? While also not being too insanely complicated, because I want to finish this in a reasonable time. Yeah, so that's a thing I'm theorizing I could do. That would solve the problem, because you can't just camp in one area, you'd have to run around. It would also mean that no matter how I design the arena, if one corner of the arena is just naturally easier to hide in, for whatever reason, you wouldn't be able to just... It forces you to have to explore the whole arena, hypothetically. In a real level, I imagine it would be bigger than this, but this is just a fun, funky test environment, I think. And then it does two things. So the enemy running away from you also has a destination. It has a place to get to, and then that, I don't know, could do some interesting stuff for the pathfinding. The AI, that's something I'm going to have to figure out how to program now, basically, is having the AI both want to run away from the player and get to this object that gives it points. I don't know if there would just be one in the level, or there could be multiple. Ideally, there wouldn't be too many. It'd maybe be like one or maybe two. One potentially problem with this system is that then the person who's doing the chasing might be able to guard it, and that could be a problem. If the one who's running away has to get to, like, this point, there's an object here to collect, and then the player just stands on top of it, and the enemy, like, no one would ever get points, so no one could win. Then the player wouldn't be able to win also, but then they'd be in this weird stalemate, so that could be a problem. Either I solve that by, every once in a while, even if it hasn't been collected, it just moves anyway. I don't know how to communicate that in a good way, but that's potentially an option. The player could, whoever's not it, could not know where it is. That's an option. Like, it could be invisible. But then if the enemy's running in a particular direction, you know, okay, it must be in that direction. Unless you don't know. Interesting, because then, well, okay, sorry. That only matters, I think, if it was a player versus player thing. If you're hunting an AI, like, it wouldn't be able to strategize as much, unless I program it to be that intelligent. But the idea that could juke you out, like, I'm running this way, the collectible must be in this direction, oh, you're going over there to cut me off? Psych, the collectible's actually over here. I don't think I'd be able to necessarily effectively get an enemy to be programmed like that, but who knows? The player maybe could do that. I don't know. Anyways, that is an option. Where was I going with this? Yeah. So a problem with having a collectible that you have to run around and hit in the environment does give more progression, because then instead of just having a boring bar that slowly fills up, it would be like, I don't know, actually cemented thing, or a number, 0 out of 5. Like, oh, 2 out of 5, whatever. That might be just more tangible progress of how close you are to winning, rather than just slowly waiting for a thing to tick up. That sounds more engaging to me on first glance. One problem with that could be the camping the collectible. So the solution to that is either there's more than one, or the one who would be doing the guarding doesn't know where it is. Or maybe they can't get close to it, but then that might also have its own problems. Like if there's like the coin is here, but now the player can't enter this space. I don't know, that could potentially, that might be just funky, or the player running into some like invisible wall or something like that. I think my first inkling would be to have there's 2 of these collectibles. You probably on opposite corners of the map, so that the player can guard one, but they couldn't guard both. Another option could be if they are guarding it for too long, then there's some consequence, like it moves or something like that. Or maybe there's like 2 ways to get points. Either you get the collectible, or after 30 seconds of not being tagged, you just get a point for free. But then you could just do the jumping over, back and forth over the hurdles solution, hypothetically. Anyway, so I'm both just suggesting random stuff, potentially I'll have new ideas, but also I'm brainstorming to myself and seeing like, how do I like these ideas, blah, blah, blah. I am leaning towards, from everything I've said, I think I am leaning towards, let's try having this collectible thing. It can either be a coin-like collectible, or like a whole squared region of enter this square and you get the point. Or it could be enter the square for a couple seconds. You have to go there and then be inside it for a couple seconds. No, I don't see a reason to do that. I don't think that's necessary here. Just a thing, you touch it, you get a point. So some glowy coin thing. It's invisible, or I'm gonna try making it transparent if you're not it, so you know that it's there. Would you see it on the mini-map? I guess that's a thing I could hypothetically do, is if you are the one chasing, you could still see it if you happen to come across it, but it doesn't show up in your mini-map, so then there's slightly more like unknown of where the enemy is going. I guess that's a balancing thing. I could program it to go either way, and then I could just play test it and see what feels better. As I said, I want to balance this kind of 50-50 between how easy and hard it is to run away from the enemy and chase them. Ideally, they're both about 50-50, and neither of them are like too easy or too hard. So that's a variable that I could change if I find that one is, if getting the collectibles are too easy, I can make it harder. Yeah, that sort of thing. So I can have a sort of baseline, try it, and then go from there. So, okay, so version 1 of this, and also I can start with the thing that's easier to program and go from there. I want to keep this somewhat simple. Some decisions I'm making are going to be based on what do I think is going to be easier for me to program, and visually communicate to the user without much instruction. Ideally, I don't need to give a whole pamphlet on how this game works. It'd be cool. The more things that are just obvious, the better. So, to I guess outline what thing that I think we're gonna try, and then as we're programming it, things could change. We'll see. I don't know how to start this. Player, enemy is faster, but can't jump. I still want to try to do that. If I really want to undo that and decide, you know what, it'd be better if they're both the same, I could do that. But I want to try this idea of that they're different. They have some fundamental difference. I could change what that difference is, but we'll see. Can't jump. Player is slower. I don't know how much slower either. I don't want the player to be too slow. That could be really problematic, but we'll see. But can jump over hurdles. So that's just how they move around. In terms of the actual objective, there are 2 collectibles always around the map. I'll worry about the mini-map part of it later. First, we're going to get the actual, what the player can see part of it working first. There are 2 collectibles, always, somewhere around the map. Ideally, they're far from each other, but there's probably going to be some randomness in how they spawn. I don't know if I'm going to have a few select spawn points or make it completely random. We'll see. There are 2 collectibles always around the map. If the... I'll write all this from the player's point of view. If the player is it... the player is it. They are chasing the enemy to tag them. Or... No, hold on, I'm going to write this differently. I'm just going to say, for the one who is not it. I'm just gonna write from not it perspective first. The collectible is visible. Man, I can't type. Bleh. It is visible if collected. That unit or that person, I don't know, gets a point. For the one who is it, they can see the collectible, but it's transparent. So beyond just trying to tag and evade, there's an incentive to traverse the whole map arena. So that's the point of the collectibles. Force people to the arena, and the player can't just jump back and forth over the same hurdle. I don't know how many points will be a win. It'll depend on how fast you can get point. So let's start by saying 10 collectibles equals win. I don't know, whatever. Beh. Okay, so 2 collectibles around the map. The one who's not it, the collectible is visible. If they collected, that person gets a point. The one who is it, you can see collectible is transparent. They are trying to tag the it person, so they can now get the collectibles. And then an extra component of this, the one who is not it can attempt to guard the collectibles, but as there are 2, they can't just camp on top of it. Something like that. Okay. Bleh. Not written the best, but just for me to understand what I'm trying to do. So this is gonna be like draft 1 of what we're attempting to do, and this could change. Other possibilities is that like there could be a different amount of collectibles, whether or not they show up on the minimap, player speed, jump speed, like all that kind of stuff. But we're just gonna start with this, and it's now I get to move from conceptual stuff to how am I gonna actually program it. But I have like a game plan, and I still have a mess of old code that I'm gonna be having to clear out and whatever. But we'll get to that. Maybe I don't know if that'll happen during the stream or if I'll do more of that on my own time. I already had cleared out some stuff. I'd made more of this environment, and I'd cleaned up more code, set up a bunch of like lighting settings and URP settings to have environment just look a bit better. Way better than how it did at the end of the last stream. Let me tell you. Okay, so with that, and also, so having these 2 environments, there's not going to be 2. This is like the real environment. This was me just testing stuff off to the side without destroying this one. And so in here, I was messing around with there being... how you can have different weights for different areas of the environment just to learn how to do it, because it's cool. And you have, like, obstacles that move around. I don't know how much of that I'm going to have in the real environment, but it's cool that it's an option. But for now, we're not going to worry about that. For now, the environment is just going to have walking around, these walls and these hurdles for the player to jump over, and being blockers for the robot. And nothing else. And for testing purposes, I might build like individual, like, oh, here's just a hallway, here's like just a corner, or here's just like a square box to run around just to see how the enemy reacts to that environment. We're going to be, I think, focusing, in terms of this system, we're going to be focusing more on how the enemy AI reacts to that. I'm going to, I guess, have to write more about, given this system, how should the enemy decide where to go? How does it pick its destination? Ideally, how does it have maybe a bit of randomness, a bit of difficulty that I can tweak? I can tweak how smart it is, hypothetically. I can have an AI that's a more beginner level that doesn't, it's not as smart. Or I can have like a more complex one that makes intelligent decisions, whatever that means. I mean, it can be more complex in that it runs faster, or it can be more complex in that it makes smarter decisions somehow. To like, just because it's chasing the coin, it doesn't run right into the player, or something like that. But first, we gotta just make it exist in the first place. So, all that talking aside, how has it been 38 minutes? Where does the time go? Jeez. Jeez Louise. Let's actually do game stuff, shall we? So, question one, where do I want to start? First of all, I'm going to go back, for programming the system to start, I don't need this funky environment over here. We're just going to, I forgot that I had a second. Are you the same as you? Did I make any meaningful changes? I don't think so, but just in case. You have nothing to apply. You do. If I revert. I hope that didn't break anything. If it did, I'll find out. Ha ha ha. You're way taller than you need to be, but the game's mostly 2D, so like for now, I don't think I need to worry about that. Let me just quickly go into play mode and see if this one is running around fine enough. 5 seconds, you'll pick a place. Yeah. I put a little rectangle in the front of his face so you could just see its forward direction. Yeah. I've tagged you. No, I didn't. Wait. I tagged you. Ha ha ha. And you have a null error. You're not going to be running at me yet, but that's a thing. Another thing that we're going to have to get up and running again. Which, there's going to be some messiness as I go through some of this code, that like some of my old code from what this game was before that's still lingering around. There's a lot of complicated stuff with... Actually, I don't even know if this is going to stick around having, like... This has a rigid body it currently doesn't need. Actually, if I really need these and these values, I can literally just go back over this stream. I'm going to try it for now, just keeping this simple, and I'm going to remove that. Do you even need the capsule collider? I don't know. The nav mesh agent, your height comes from these settings. You technically aren't as tall. If I go to like 1.5, is that... No, what defines this height again? I thought it was that. Oh. Oh, obstacle avoidance? Interesting. Oh, I guess... Okay, 1.5 is pretty accurate. Not that height will matter that much, I don't think. But whatever. Anyway, this random little thing there. Okay. It was this character score I turned off that broke the menu thing on the side. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here to go through. So... yeah, I said this thing's not going to jump. I'm going to start actually removing scripts that I don't think need to be on here. You can be removed, and you still work, right? Is the player just going to walk through you now? Let me just double check that. Oh, you don't like that, okay. Hey, no, come back here. Oh, there's a collider on the little cube face. Okay, yep. So you do need a collider. That is going to stay on. Move you down. Actually, no, you stay on the floor, but just... I guess this doesn't matter as much because... You know what? That part doesn't matter as much because it's gonna... probably change anyway when we make it an actual thing. I am gonna quickly just front... I'm gonna get off the cube off of you. You don't need it. It's fine. Okay. Not important stuff aside. Also all of this player stuff. We're going to not worry about the player for now. We're going to focus more on the enemy. So how do I want to start actually programming this? We're going to apply all these things so I can see better. In theory, I don't need this. This is the old pathfinding system. Let me have a quick glance through it. maybe there's some parts of this I can take, so I won't delete the script. You start by just getting references to all your different components, sure, and then I commented this out before, but you would use the it character tracker to know who is it. I have some stuff in place to hypothetically be able to have multiple people that are it and multiple people that are not it, and maybe that'll be a part of this. I want to keep some of that functionality around, but for now we're not using it. For now it's just 1v1. So it would know what character is not it. The last character that was it and did that change. I do still kind of want to change some of the naming here, because it and not it gets kind of confusing. To call them like runners and evaders or something, or chasers and evaders or something like that. Just get a little bit less tongue-tied. But anyway, so yeah, it would keep track of whether it's a chaser or a hunter, and an invader and a hunter, something like that. And it would do stuff to say, hey, I just changed states, I need to change how I'm pathfinding. Otherwise, it would... The old waypoint system I had, it would say, hey, I'm chasing someone. If I'm chasing this person, yeah, how do I pathfind to them? And then it would do that. If it was running away, it would say, this is the person that's closest to me. What is the opposite side of the map from them? Go that way. Is pretty much how that would work. Long story short. And yeah, use destination, and then it would calculate fake input stuff and fake turning stuff to kind of emulate the player. I think I am comfortable removing the component, but not deleting the script yet. And then we had this. And then even this stuff, actually none of this is used. Let me double check. This character disable thing kind of is. That has to do with if you tag a player, they get stunned for a second. Some parts of this are still used, technically. The score thing is used, but might change considerably. And then this has to do with them showing on the mini-map. That can stay. And then this... I need to remind myself, the difference between character disable and character it state. Those used to need to be on different game objects, because one was on the child object that had, like, a trigger collider. It had like an on-trigger enter thing. Yeah, this just deactivate character. What's with the random space here? Let's just not. Animation stuff. It's fine. This put in the error checking real quick because we coding cool. Hello, and yes, it is very. Right, yes. Okay, so deactivate... yeah, this has to do with temporary stun stuff that might kind of get redone and replaced with some kind of better animated thing. And then this character it state. This should have some easy-to-access bool that says, hey, am I in the it state or not? But it doesn't really. It kind of says... It uses this can tag thing to say, like, this character tracker. It character tracker kind of keeps track of this. Attempt tag, change outline. Oh yeah, when I used to have this outline thing, which is no longer a thing, and I'm okay with that. I used to I tried to have, if you were it versus not it, your character outline was like green or red, but it just looked bad. So maybe at some point I'll try it again, but have it look better. But for now we're just gonna cut it out entirely, and then wait to tag, and you'd access the character disable thing. Okay. Actually, I'm fine just deleting this code entirely. Okay, actually, you know, yeah, first order of business, just starting to simplify things. I think I am comfortable to combine these two scripts together, because they really do the same thing. Oh, this mesh render thing was for the outline script, which means if I get rid of you, I can get rid of you. And then what you can tag is this, which I don't know if this needs to be gotten like this versus just tested there. Oh, this, or I guess not. Tag, blah, blah, blah. So you call deactivate and activate. If I were to just take you, put you here, is that fine? And then take these guys, jump you at the top, and then take all these guys. And then combine some of them, except yeah, no character disable now. No, it's part of this. I don't know if other scripts call any of these. I guess I'm about to find out. Oh, not like that. Okay. Good. And you don't have you. Okay. And even some of this will, well, kind of be used. Kind of not. Okay. No errors. Might be errors when I go into play mode. For now, just no, like, compile errors. Cool. That means this character disable could be cut out. And I'll cut it out on the player in a minute. Just, oh, I didn't save this. That might, now that might trigger some errors of, hey, I'm looking for this thing, but I can't find it. No? Really? Really? Okay, fine. We're also going to remove this move and turn script because, yep, it just doesn't use that anymore. Maybe something like that might be added back eventually, but for now I just want to clean this up. Make it just easier to build this new stuff. And, actually, and even character it state, I don't know if that's even the best name for this now. Really, this controls the process of attempting to tag somebody. So it's not really, it doesn't even keep track of the state of whether we're tagged or not, really. So, may I rename the script to, like, character tag? Tagger? Tag. And it's generically called character rather than, like, enemy or player, because this script goes on the player and the enemy. Just tag. Whatever, tag. Fine. It's fine. I don't need to think too hard into it. It's fine. That rename this properly. No, what? Wait, ooh. I thought that would be fine. Where are you? Where'd you go? Enter tag. Yeah, you're... It's because... Did you not like me renaming it from the... From in here? 1 second, apparently. Where'd you go? Character... It stayed. No, no. Rename you. Ah, no. No! Okay. Character tag. Take that. Boom. And then rename you from the inside. Blah. Fine. I should know this. I've done it many times. And then you do it. You don't do it in a while, and then you forget how it works. Yeah, there you are. You're there, probably attached to the thing. All is good. You don't like me doing that. Whatever, it's fine. And then no overrides on Ancient Ivan, though. I should be able to delete. Hey, Reptilian Goddess, hello, hello, welcome, welcome, and slurp I can do. We are continuing my tag game, and it's looking good so far. Woo. And I think I hear some jingles in the distance. You don't see them, though. Autumn is somewhere in the background. No cutie, though. She was down here more so earlier today, but she doesn't come down here much. I hear jingling. Cat might show an appearance on stream very soon, but we'll see. Did I properly add back that autumn emoji? I don't know if I did. Oh! I say her name too many times and she arrives. Wow. A few pixels of cat. Anyway. Okay. Right. What I was quickly doing is on the player disabling scripts that don't need to be here, which is this character disable and go away. And that's renamed, sure. Judy. Yes, she is. Right. No, you didn't add the autumn one back. Oh no! Whoopsies! I meant to. I will after this stream. I thought I did. Oopsies. Or maybe it's accidentally on one of the higher, like... There's, like, different areas that you can add them. It's possible I added the wrong area or something. It's meant to be in the same level as the kitty one. If it's not, oopsies. I will fix. You didn't even add back the kitty dancing. Really? What? I thought I did. Oopsies. I clearly either didn't do it right or whatever. Oh, wait, no, that one's there. Oh, okay, cool. Yay, woo. God, few pixels of cat. Actually, I can even just go... Whoa! Alright, back to coding. What we came here for. But I think I just had to scroll. Fair enough. Oh, how is this? I can look at my own. Oh, it's yeah, curve blah 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 blah. Where do you even get to? Aha! I have infinity bits. Wahahaha. The perks of it being your own stream. Anyways, I don't want to get too sucked into that right now. Game. Tag stuff. Okay, so we were, I was cleaning up the code that wasn't even what I need to mess with right now. This character disable is, I can get rid of it, like I'll delete the script soon. There's this scoring stuff that I want to change to be based on like a collectible system. I'll get to that. Distraction, yes, I know. We came here for the cat distraction. Yeah. Oh no, she's gone. As quickly as she came, she left. She'll be back. Pathfinding, nav mesh, blah. In here. Okay. So, where do I want to start with this? I guess if I want them to pathfind towards random collectibles, I guess I kind of need a basic version of this collectible. So, let me make that. We're just going to have a simple, like a coin-looking thing. I don't know what a more polished version of this might look like, but for now it's going to be the most basic. You need a collectible in the game. You're in a game, you make a shiny-looking coin. Whoa! And, I'll give it just the same... Actually, yellow is normally what you go for. Actually, I was gonna give it the same yellow as the hurdle. It can get this shinier yellow. Why not? Make it have a trigger collider that's bigger than itself. I don't know what the range of collecting this thing's gonna be, but let's just make it that for now. Not as super important right now. I don't even... We'll call it... Let's make it them coins for now. I'll figure out what in the context of the deep lore of this game this collectible will possibly be. But let's just place it over in a corner. So, I have this collectible, and I'll have, I guess, some code to randomly place them, but for now, it exists. Oh, and I did say that there could be... I'm going to try having more than one. I guess I want to plan for that early, or it might be hard to not. Oh, that means I'm going to have to... No, the nav mesh has a path length thing. I can use that, I think. Interesting. Okay. Huh. Okay, it's going to make it a bit more complicated, but I think I can handle it. So, we have 2 coins around here. We have the player, we have that. Actually, why is the player cutting into its mesh like that? It shouldn't be doing that. That has to do with, like, what layer it uses for stuff, doesn't it? Hold on. On the nav mesh thing, blah. Humanoid walkable, use geometry, physics colliders, and this has a physics collider thing. If I go render meshes, I tested this before, and it like, was cutting into its own thing. I mean, I just have to have it include layers, not everything, but I'm really just environment. If I just go environment, is there anything that's... Yeah, this covers everything it needs to. Perfect. And then like, it won't cut through the coins either. Okay. Easy. Yeah. I guess my random, like, blocker thing over there, I'd want to make sure that's part of the environment layer, but not static. And actually, the nav mesh isn't going to move, so whatever tiny performance thing I get from making that static, too. The coins won't be static. They'll move around. Anyway, okay. So, I have a coin. I have enemy. Let's just... Very basic thing. The enemy will need to know where the coins are. So for the enemy to decide where it's gonna know, it needs to know. Look from hello, hi. Oh, and Autumn returns. Apparently, I gotta point her out every time she walks by. Ha ha. You pickles of a cat. Okay, so the enemy, to know where it needs to go, it will need a list of... So, the player, or any other beings, if there was more other enemies in the level, anything that's it, anything that's not it. But for now, just the player. And then it's going to know where all the collectibles are. And then the paths of all of those things, it's going to do funky math, and figure out where it actually wants to go, I guess. I don't know if it'd be smart enough to figure out, like, the player acting as a nav mesh obstacle. That's like a thing you can set up if you know to try to Pathfinder at it. Like, is that all I'd want to do? Would that work? Let's figure this out. Let's one step at a time say... Ooh, actually, hold on. I was about to say, have it look at the 2 coins, calculate their paths. You can look at the length of the paths, and then say which one is closer, actually go to that one. But there could be a situation where it doesn't want to go to the closest one, because if the player is guarding one of them, it might decide, okay, I'll go to the other one then. So I'm trying to think of how it would want to calculate that. I'm kind of done with programming as of right now, and I want to see if... Wait. I'm kind of done with programming as of right now, and I want to see if I can somehow do some magic and slowly unlock creative thoughts. Interesting. Yeah, it's unfortunate to be burned out on programming. I've definitely been there. Because I do programming every day for my job. I get that it can get a bit tiring. I'm starting to get back into it now for a hobby when I hadn't been doing that for like a year. But yeah, unfortunate. Not finding programming as fun as it used to be. But do magic and stuff. Like, are you sort of pursuing other creative endeavors? Is that kind of what you mean? If so, cool. Best of luck to you with that. Yeah. I've dabbled in, like, animation and, like, music making and, like, that kind of stuff. And, of course, the Rubik's Cubes and all that sort of stuff and whatnot. But yeah, best of luck to you with wherever you end up going. Yeah, what was... Okay. Programming stuff. Let's just start with it being simple and just say, pick a coin, which one's closest, go to it. Let's just do that. I want to design a new sewer level for my ROM hack, but I'm terrible with level design and all that. And the current, at the current moment, I can't envision myself with the ability. I have also really struggled with level design. Like, even like designing this random like arena that's probably not even the final what it's going to look like was quite tough. I definitely find level design to be something that I very much struggle with and have watched dozens of random YouTube videos on and have tried to become better at. To some degree, where practice makes perfect, but you can still, very, very tricky. And one potential solution could be to try to make games that don't have inherent level design, like if you're making puzzle games or Tetris and stuff like that. Maybe practice can get me there, maybe, but I get that it can be daunting and a big upward hill. I also feel that with level design specifically, and other bits of game making things, like making really good 3D models and making stuff look super pretty and whatever. And like Unity and lighting and everything, understanding all the like very complicated lighting settings, like having a thorough understanding of what each individual thing here means and how best to optimize it for your game. Not even just here, but in like all the graphics and quality settings, like the URP asset settings. It gets very complicated very fast. But yeah, best of luck to you with that. It's cool that you're doing it as a ROM hack, though. That is neat. So we started with very basics, just being able to replicate the default level, and then being able to create smaller sections, eventually make them look more natural, and eventually I'll be able to make a new layout. Yeah, understanding the tools on how to do the things definitely is an important step of that whole process for sure. And yeah, best of luck with being able to, and then recreating something that's already there. Yeah, can help teach you those things. I find that it can help to, when you're trying to design a level, to almost design it in paper first, like writing down what the different sections you'd want are and like how they would flow and having different, like what different mechanics could happen. Sort of starting to plan it by words and then translating that to actually building stuff can sometimes help, but different people are different. And also I still struggle with game design even despite all that. But, yeah. The wrong hack gave you a base to work with, so I know you were about graphics at least. That is good. Yeah, because graphics hard. I still need to learn the level design. And level design is different from game to game, which different games require. It's hard. It's complicated. Best of luck to you with that. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do it here. Okay, so yeah, the enemy needs 3 things. It needs the player. Okay, for now, I guess I'm just gonna what's any script I have on the player? It's like I like player move, but is there a better player input? Sure, why not? Player input. Actually, I'll go with character move because that can be more abstracted to other enemies. I do want to make a system. Actually, no, because the enemies